This case is one of the most extraordinary UFO events in U.S. history that many of us have never heard of. The incident took place on the early morning of August 27, 1979, in Warren, Minnesota, which is nearly 20 miles from the North Dakota border. Marshall County Sheriff's Deputy Val Johnson was on patrol on Highway 5, when he noticed a brilliant light ahead of him. Deputy Johnson immediately radioed dispatch, believing he was approaching a collision involving a semi-truck or aircraft. However, as he progressed towards the light immediately plunged through the windshield of his squad, striking him and knocking him out. The crash details were strange, as Deputy Johnson informed the dispatcher that he saw a bright orb of light just before the crash, about 8 to 12 inches in diameter and hovering 3 or 4 feet off the ground. The last thing he remembered was driving into the light and seeing the orb enter the car through his windshield before going back out. Whatever hit the car smashed its headlight. Then there is a weird dent on the top of the hood along with a cracked windshield, a damaged reflector, and bent antennas. The Sheriff's Office investigation reports also noted that Deputy Johnson's watch and the clock on the 1977 Ford patrol car stopped working for 14 minutes. Although Dennis Breck, the Marshall County Sheriff in 1979, asserted he took Deputy Johnson at his word and has never doubted him, they still tried to make sense of what transpired that morning. So they brought in Honeywell and Ford Motor Company experts to examine the wreckage. The investigators attested that the case was unusual and claimed to have never witnessed damage like that before and could never determine the cause of the crash. In addition to a damaged squad car, Deputy Johnson's teeth were fractured at the gum line. He also claimed his eyes burned, and after being checked by a doctor, Johnson was diagnosed with welder-type burns on his eyes, similar to those endured by people exposed to bright lights. In a quest to find an explanation, the Sheriff's Department also reached out to Alan Hendry, chief investigator with the Center for UFO Studies. After an extensive investigation into the case, they concluded that maybe our Creator had made other things we cannot readily identify or see, which may be one of the things the deputy encountered on the road. The biggest mystery about the Deputy Val Johnson case is trying to find an explanation for something that could function the way he described it, and produce the damage discovered. Still, in the 42 years since its occurrence, no one has been able to explain what happened. Many believe what Johnson encountered was something out of this world, and the folklore surrounding the event has been drawing tourists to the Minnesota town ever since. After all, the actual evidence exists in the local museum, which includes an exhibit of the actual damaged patrol car and the original call between the deputy and dispatcher. Val Johnson has since moved away from Warren, Minnesota, and stopped giving interviews since the incident, since the attention received has been stressful for his family. Still, he has expressed hopes that new UFO sightings and government disclosures might give people a fresh perspective on his story. Do you believe Deputy Johnson was struck by a UFO? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.